Okay, so coming back to this problem, that I would like you to, again, make two functions. You need to make, I'm going to give you your outline here. So if you're starting to code this up, don't put all the details of the code. You're going to do this in the breakout rooms, but you're going to make two functions. One function is going to be called, why is that not going back? Okay, here we go. So one function is going to be called roll pair dice. Okay, so make two functions. Roll pair dice. And the second function is, of course, your main function. Your roll pair dice function, what should it do for clarity? So I'm going to put your comments here. So roll pair dice function. Parameters, none. There are no parameters. Returns an int, returns an integer value representing the result of rolling a pair of dice. So it returns a number between 2 and 12. Okay, that's it. So roll pair dice, simply, so what's the purpose of this description? This function simply simulates rolling a pair of dice. It's that simple. Okay. And what's the other function? The other function is your main. I'll type a description for you. Description is, this is simply your main function. So within this function is where you're going to have this functionality of, you're going to make a variable player one, you're going to call the roll dice function. That result is going to maybe get saved into player one. Same thing for player two, you're going to call the roll pair dice function, you're going to save that result into player two. You're then going to do an if-else statement to check who has the higher score. Does player one win? Does player two win? Or is it a tie? Okay, this is the idea. So, I mean, you have dice in all kinds of games, right? And so sometimes people lose their dice. Maybe they don't want to use their dice. So, but they're happy to use, for example, online games where it's just you hit a button and it does it for you. It simulates it for you from 1 to 6 type of a thing. So here you're programming that exact functionality, which is kind of cool. So make this function for roll pair dice, make this function for main. I'm going to put you into groups, and hopefully this will take about 5 to maybe 8 minutes, and we'll come to another one. Bear with me. Let me check the groups here. Looks good. So if I can, let me see if this is possible. If I can ask Sean to code, can I ask maybe Coulson to code and Chloe to code, if that's possible? Sean, Coulson, Chloe. Do any of you not have the ability to share your screen? I'm going to assume no. Okay, so here we go. If that's possible, if Sean, Coulson, and Chloe, if y'all can share your screens and then code this up in the groups. So as always, let me very quickly code this up. So here's our define main. And up here, let me make sure we call our main. Okay. And then let's define our roll pair dice. And so here, what do we have? We need to import random. First of all, make sure we know that. Import random. Okay, so I can say die I can say what? Woohoo. Okay, I thought I was crazy. I stopped sharing my screen for the video. I was like, am I losing my mind? How do I go back to Zoom? I'll let you see why I stopped. That's too funny. Share screen. Because I thought, am I losing my mind? I'm thinking that I can type dice as a singular, and yeah, it used to not be, but now it's actually considered both a singular and a plural. Okay, I'm not losing my mind. Okay, so I'm going to call it dice one. So dice one equals random dot randint 6. I'm sorry, 1 6, and then dice 2 equals random dot randint 1 6, and then return dice 1 plus dice 2. I could, of course, have just said return random dot randint 212, but I want to physically feel it or see the actual 2 dice. That's why I did it like this. Main is simply going to be player 1 equals roll pair dice. Player 2 equals roll pair dice. And then we compare player 1, compare these scores of player 1 and player 1 and player 2. So if player 1 is greater than player 2, we're going to print. Actually, no, we need to print something else, right? Player 1 rolled to this and player 2 rolled to that. Let's print that. Print first line of result dot format player 1 player 2. Do I have an extra parenthesis there? Nope. So here, player 1 rolled a blank, and player 2 rolled a blank. That looks good. Why is it not giving me an error there? It should. Maybe because it's in a function. Okay, so that looks good there. If player 1 is greater than player 2, I need to say what? Player blank, you win. So I'll just say player 1, you win. Elif player 2 is greater than player 1. Print player 2, you win. Else print it's a tie. Something to that effect. Run this. Player 1 rolled a 6, player 2 rolled an 11, player 2, you win. Run it again. Player 1 rolled a 9, player 2 rolled a 9, it's a tie. Run it again. Player 1 rolled a 10 and player 2 rolled a 6. So that looks good. Let's go check out the breakout rooms.
So then actually, yeah, you could probably put that first statement above the first print statement above the if statement. Just because no matter what the outcome is, you're still going to print that.
Right.
It is hard to break habits, huh, Chloe? Because I see that Chloe, I forget who has done Java, but I can see Chloe's a Java programmer.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. It's just, it's so easy to see it once you know. Because as I told y'all, I'm more of a Java programmer, so I definitely do the camel case more than anything.
Does it doesn't affect it at all, does it?
It doesn't, but if you were actually programming in a team of developers, they'd make everyone adhere to the same style, which is why there's style guidelines. It causes me pain to type underscores, but I recognize I have to remind myself, but I'm not doing Java, I'm doing another language. Yeah, so I think y'all need a little bit more work on the roll pair dice.
Yeah.
I'll let y'all figure that out. I'm going to check out another group. So who's coding, Sean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me just
Done.
encourage you, because this is the second group. I haven't visited the third group yet, but you're doing the same as the last group was. And remember, player one is supposed to be like type player one on line 18 before roll pair dice. Type player one equals roll pair dice. No, it's right there on now on line 19. Type the word player one before roll pair dice. Player one equals. Yep, now you can delete line 18. Yep. So what you're doing is you want to call, the only purpose of roll pair dice is just to generate a number between 2 and 12 and return that number. So right now you don't say player one on line 12 or 13. Yeah, but so I want you to think about, you need to work on your function some more. Lines 10 to 16, discuss that as a group of, you're not doing any player one or player two up inside that roll pair dice function. You're just generating a random number between 2 and 12 and you're returning that. So consider line 19.
Yeah.
Consider
finish.
your line 19. That the result of line 19 is that player one is going to have some value between 2 and 12.
Mm.
So how does that happen? Because up here, this function up here, its singular purpose is to generate a number between 2 and 12 and then to return it. So just basically delete line 12 or 13. Yeah, delete line 12 or 13. And don't call it player one, just call it roll maybe. Yeah, so there is a roll between, and the result is 2 or 12 and then return roll. That's how simple it is. You can get rid of the extra unnecessary spaces like a line 11, 13, and 14. That's it. That's all your function was. Roll a dice and then return roll. So you're going to roll it once here and you're going to roll it once there. Yep, perfect. Can I see your function? David, are you assisting? Mariam?
David is sending chat.
Okay.
Mic isn't working.
So what I'd like to say is, yeah, so look at line 19. Line
Yeah.
19, Colson,
Yes.
is where you should say player one equals roll pair dice. Player one equals roll pair dice. You're going to call that function. And you do the same thing on line 20 for player two. You need to put parentheses there right afterwards though. No. Right afterwards, right there. You need to put a pair of parentheses at the end of the word dice. Because that's, you're calling that function. So you'll need to spend a little bit more time thinking about what do you do with your function above? Because there should be no player one or player two in that function. So you can delete lines 16 and 17. And what does your function really do? Your function is just generating a random number between 2 and 12, and it's returning that number. That's what you need to do. So remember that, I don't know if you typed up comments for the function, if you were able to type, because I know I type fast.
Yeah, I wasn't able to finish.
Yeah. So what you're supposed to have is, yeah, returns an integer value representing the result of rolling 2 dice. And that integer value would therefore be between 2 and 12. So you can delete line 15 because you don't need to, that's, so if do you want to do 2 dice or do you want to do 1 dice? You tell me. It's your code.
Let's go with 1.
Okay, so you can delete that then. And so if you're going to have one line of code to simulate both dice, what is if you roll 2 dice, what's the smallest possible number you can get?
2 dice?
Yeah, if you roll 2 dice, what's the smallest possible roll?
2.
Yeah. So the random numbers going to start from 2 to 12, not from 1 to 12. Right? So you need to save that into something. So as David typed in the chat, you need to assign that result into a variable. So on line 14, you could say roll equals random.randint to 12.
On what line?
Line 14,
Uh-huh.
you could say roll equals. Yep. So here what you've just done is, and then you need to, on the next line, type return roll. So what you've just done is you generated a random number between 2 and 12. You saved that random number inside the variable roll, and now you're returning it. That's the only purpose of this roll pair dice function, is to simulate rolling a pair of dice and to generate a number 2 to 12. That's all. So then on line 18, player 1 rolled a dice. On line 19, player 2 rolled a dice. And then now you just simply put some comparisons. So I'll let you keep going with that. You're almost done. Probably got about another 60 seconds, so I'm gonna go check out the other rooms real quick. So are we good?
Yes, it worked.
Woohoo. Okay. Then let me do this. I'm gonna go bring everyone back to the main room because I think we are all done, or at least let me go check on one more. Is it working?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm gonna go back to the main room. Chloe, can you please share your screen?
It said you disabled screen
Oh
sharing.
no, again. I forgot to look into that. I don't know why. There's gotta be an option for this.
There is a setting in the Zoom application.
Yeah, in the application, but once we're actually in here. So when I click on security, allow participants to, there it is. So go ahead, Chloe, try it again, please. Any comments, any explanation? It's pretty clear. It works. Cool. I like it. Thank you, ma'am. What I did is, just for the purpose of the video, if any of y'all were watching these videos, I posted many late last night. I'll post this one today right afterwards. So I normally try to code this up before going to the room. So here was my solution, where I had my main. Let's look at the roll pair dice. I obviously did not need to do it like this, but I wanted to see the 2 physical dice being rolled. I mean, look, if you wanted to do it as in the shortest amount of code as possible, I could have just said right here, return random.randint to 12, right? You can return the call to random right there within that statement. But no harm, no foul. I wanted to actually see dice 1, dice 2, return dice 1 plus dice 2. That's the same thing as doing random.randint to 12. So here's my main. Player 1 and player 2 both roll their dice. I then print the first line of the result, and then I compare the scores, and I print appropriately. And of course, we need to make sure we call our main. Cool. So what it really amounts to at this point is practice. So let's practice another one. I'm going to send you all a file. I'm trying to get to my Zoom chat. Bear with me. So make sure you go to your chat and you click this. So file, my computer, and it's called meters feet. Bear with me. Here it is. So double click that. I sent it in the chat to everyone. Double click that, please. And so y'all can still see my screen share. Don't know what to tell you, Mariam. Well, Mariam, you can actually do a print screen right here now that you're seeing my screen. I assume everyone can see my screen, correct? It says that I'm sharing. Cool.
Yes.
So basically, notice what this says. There's a lot going on here. You need to really write three functions. You need to write this function here. Okay. This is function number 1. The function is called foot to meters, where you're going to send over a measurement in feet and you're going to convert that to meters. The second function is called meters to feet. I don't like the word foot. I would change it to feet. Meters to feet. And you're going to send over meters and you're going to convert it to feet. And here are the formulas for those respective conversions. Okay. So I will tell you that both of these two functions right here, that wasn't the nicest, both of those two functions, they return values. They return the newly converted values. Return the newly converted values. Okay? And to do that, you have to, of course, use the formulas right here that are given. And then you have a third function which prints this, okay? And this is your main function. Your main function should print this entire table right here. How? By using and by calling the functions above. So just for clarity, I think that these 3 periods are very clear to me because I've seen it a lot. I've taught this a lot. But what do those 3 periods tell you with respect to the number of rows that are being printed right here? How many rows are being printed?
10.
10 rows, right? 1, 2, and the 3 periods says it keeps going. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're going to print that using a loop. You're going to loop 10 times. And so 1 foot is exactly 0.305 meters. Well, how did you get that 0.305? Well, this 1 will be sent to this function right here. And so 1 is going to come right here as a parameter. And then you're going to convert that into meters. You're going to say, well, 1 times 0.305. So meter equals 0.305, and then you return that new result, okay? Or 2 feet, so 2 would be sent right here. And then 2 times 0.305 is 0.610, which would get returned, and you print it right here, okay? And then notice as well that you have meters that are being converted to feet. Now, this is not 1 meter, 2 meters, up to 10 meters. This starts at 20 and it adds 6 every time. So you'll just have to think about how you're going to do that. Really, you would just start a variable called meters at 20, and every iteration of the for loop, you would add 6 to it. That'd be the easiest thing to do. Okay? So there's a lot going on here. Whoever wants to code, I'm not going to ask anyone particular to code. I'm going to go ahead and hit stop share, and I'm going to make the breakout rooms. So hit clear. Make sure you have taken your screenshot. I'll give you 10 seconds if you want to take another screenshot. 1, 2, give you 5 seconds. 3, 4, 5. Congratulations if you did not. So hit stop and breakout rooms. Here we go. So how about someone different try to code this time? Cool. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to code this quickly enough. File, open, not open. See, I can't even, I'm already failing at the beginning. File, new, save, and let's call this, what is this? Measurement, convert. And what are the actual functions called? It's called feet to meter. And that's horrible that it's in actually Java camel case as well. That's horrible. Okay, so we have define feet to meter, where we take over, we get feet, and this is just going to return. I'm going to return it on the fly. Return meters, so 0.305. So feet times 0.305. Define meters to feet. Return meters divided by 0.305. Okay, and define main. Make sure we call our main. And what are we going to do here? We're going to do a for loop for I in range 1, 11. What do we do here for I in range 111? I need to, let me start meters out here. Meters equals 20. For I in range 1, 11, I need to make a big print statement. So print with formatted printing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, put this with about, I'm gonna guess that looks like 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Dot format. Okay, so this is going to be, how about I do this for feet in range? I'm going to send over feet, and this is going to be feet to meters, feet. And then we have meters, and then we have meters to feet, meters. Cool. That should be good. Let me just run that first. Yep, feet to meters. Let's try that again. Yeah, and I didn't actually change it. What did I do wrong there? Oh, there's no spacing. Yeah, cool. And I need to meters plus equals 6. So now we need to actually space this accordingly. So I'm going to call this colon 0.1f over how much? For, let's make it 10. So colon less than 10.1f. Let's make this less, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make this 10 as well. So colon less than 10.3f. So let's run that and see how that looks. Do we get the correct answers? We do. And interesting. I think the numbers are wrong in the publisher's results. So let me just continue here. And this I need to have same thing, 10.1f. And then this is 10.3f. Yeah, so the actual publisher answer was incorrect because I think this is correct. Cool. And then all that's left is, of course, to print the header. And what's nice about that is you just take this line of text, print header. Take that exact line of text right there. But instead of all of this, I'm going to just put 10s, 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 and 10s. And this is going to be called feet, meters, meters, feet, right? Feet, meters, meters, feet. So feet. Meters, meters, feet. Perfect. That's what's beautiful about formatted printing. Cool. Let's go check out the groups.
Yeah,
You have to print one entire line at a time. You can't just print this half and then come back and print this half.
right.
So we'll use our I. I'll even make that a better name. It'll be count underscore feet. There we
Y'all
go.
are clearly doing good. I'm gonna go check out some other groups. Who's coding right now?
I am.
Sean, you are? Okay. So your functions look good. Now it's just a matter of your main. You need a for loop. Yeah, you need a for loop that needs to loop 10 times. Try to give some feedback, Musab and Jonathan. I'm gonna go visit the third group. Yeah, so Coulson, this part is a little bit confusing because here's where you need to call it. You need to basically print each line of that table with formatted printing.
But do we use, for foot, do we put in the value? We put in the value, right, for foot and meters?
What do you mean?
For the lines, we put in the value for foot and meters.
Yeah, so you're gonna, well, I would actually call this how about call it 4 feet in range 111 on that for loop. So that's actually gonna be your foot value, your feet value that you're gonna loop over for feet in range 111. And so that's gonna be your feet value. You're gonna print 1, then 2, then 3, then up to 10. And you then need to print the corresponding meter value by calling that foot to meter function. David, I assume you're still typing and giving some suggestions. See if y'all can just do that. If you can only print that one, that would be great.
The first line?
Yeah. Or just just printing feet and then printing the converted meter value. So Ibrahim,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring everyone back to the main group. If you can share, please, and keep coding, okay?
Okay.
Just
So
bear with
code
me.
in the main group.
Yep.
Okay.
Bear with me. Because I think we're having a lot of challenges here. So I will say we only have a few minutes left on this session. I'm going to ask Ibrahim, because he was, all y'all are getting close, but you're also getting stuck at some points. But I think the group with Ibrahim, Chloe, and Mariam was getting closer to a solution. So I'm going to ask him to keep coding. But before I do, just wanted to point out that I'm going to go open up some replets as well on functions today. Most of them are like 2 minutes each. It just says fill in this function header. It's really, really easy. Like if the function's already given, it just says complete the header. So it makes sure you understand you need 3 parameters, 2 parameters, 1 parameter, no parameters, and so on. Also a heads up, Chloe and Coulson, that I sent you an email regarding the photos that you were so kind to share. Just make sure you've checked that email regarding the parental photo consent form that they need in order to use your photo for the article that they're writing at Florida Southern. So Coulson and Chloe, make sure you check on that. And so Ibrahim, go ahead and share your screen and talk through this as a group real quick. You only have like maybe 2 or 3 minutes left, but talk through this as a group and explain what you're doing.
Okay, so can everyone see?
Uh-huh. I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic. I want to actually have y'all fully own this conversation. I'm not even going to participate.
So, just to explain how I got here so far, at the top you can see I have my 2 functions that are converting meters to feet and feet to meters, not respectively. Those are pretty straightforward, I would think. Over here, I made my count meter, started that at 20, printed a little header bit. We assumed that, just from a guess, we assumed that the feet and the spacing between would be 10 spaces, and then the same would be for the meters and the spacing between the lines. So we're putting 10 spaces for each column. So now over here you can see I've already filled in the variables I'm going to put for each column. Where's my, okay. So I've already filled in the variables I'm going to put in each of these. And actually it appears I've made a mistake. Hold on. Yeah. So what's in? So this is just the formatting, and I'll go through this in a second. Okay. So I've already put in the variables. Here is going to be our count feet, which is what we're looping over. This is going to be our converted feet to meters, and we're going to have that in 3 decimals. And then vice versa here. Here's our count meters, and here's the converted feet. So over here for each of these, you can see I've left aligned them, provided them with 10 spaces, and then for the first number, I gave it, oh my goodness, I gave it 1 decimal, and for the second, I gave it 3. Over here, it's a 0.3, and then all of these are floating points. And I did the same for the other side. So for each row, we're, I think, set. Let's see. So now I'm just going to print not print, but increment our count meters by 6. Each iteration of the loop, meters plus equals 6. And that should be it. All right, let's see. Okay, so the spacing here is all messed up. Hold on. Oh, wait. Well, because I gave that. Okay, so what if I put 4 spaces here? That'll probably look way better. Yep. And I'm not sure if this was, I don't think this was in his image, but I'm just going to print just for, even then, hold on. Over here, that's not looking greatest. Are we too off? Perhaps, because maybe I was accounting for that beginning. Yeah, I was, okay. So in fact, we're going to actually make that 12 spaces. And that should finally be good. Yes. Now here, I'm just going to print for aesthetic purposes. Just a little line to provide a little bit of separation between the header and the content, which was not long enough. And extend that 3 more spaces out. And put a line there. And that looks good. Do we have any questions? Actually, hold on.